All right, what's up guys? Welcome back to Supercar Street Racing. Today we got Dukes of Duval in the studio today. We're out here in Studio A. We built this studio from scratch. You guys can see the whole thing on the channel. And what are we taking a look at today, Joe?
Yeah, so we had an opportunity to get some new batteries for an awesome project where I put in a new trolling motor on my boat.
This is awesome. I can't wait to show you guys Vatrer Batteries today. So today we're going to be taking a look at that. Why don't we kick it off? You got a lot of video that you took that we're going to show these guys, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Brad was pretty busy on a couple of projects, so I kind of took the lead on this particular one, so you'll see me most of the video. But basically, it's me installing all the new setup for this trolling motor. It was quite the process. So included in that, we did the trolling motor, we did new wiring, we did breaker, along with a new charging system, as well as these new Vatrer batteries.
All right, well, let's get started. We got a lot of ground to cover today. Let's do it. Hey guys, welcome back to Supercar Street Racing, and we're out here in Studio A with Joe. This is our primary production studio. This is where we edit a lot of the stuff and go live for you guys. And we have a special project for you today because Vatrer reached out to us and wanted to work with us on any kind of project. And they have so many different kinds of batteries that we had to think about something that we really needed to do. And what did you decide?
Well, I knew this was a great opportunity because for some time I've been wanting to put a new trolling motor on my boat. And obviously there's a big expense that comes along with doing that. So that trolling motor itself that I put on is very costly. So to do that and to do it right, with Vatrer coming in to offer up these batteries, the timing was perfect. So it was a great project. You know, had to spend a little money on the trolling motor, but boy, it was perfect timing. And I'm very excited about the finished product of it.
Right behind us, right up here on the screen, you can see Vatrer and all of the advantages of this 100 amp hour, 12 volt, 150 amp BMS battery. Some of the cool things that it does up here, as you can see, it has low temperature cutoff protection, so it'll cease charging when the weather is too cold to allow a good charging cycle. It also is made for what you have.
Correct.
It's built for trolling motors and marine. It weighs 17% of what a normal marine battery does. Has a battery management system that also helps keep the battery healthy because live PO4 batteries need a management system just due to the way that they drain and recharge. And then of course it has 20 protections that go along with that BMS system that keep your battery healthy. And then this is equivalent to two 12 volt 100 amp hour lead acid batteries with a fraction of the weight.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about what you did when you put this in your boat and what we're going to be looking forward to in this video.
What you'll see is I put a brand new Minn Kota on the boat. It's a 24 volt system.
Okay.
This system obviously was a little bit different than the system that I had on there. It was a 12 volt system. So a lot of work needed to be done to be prepared to be able to take on such a more powerful system. Installing the trolling motor itself was quite the project. Along with that, what we needed to make sure is that we had all the proper wiring, all the proper breakers, everything that was necessary to make sure that it could handle this 24 volt load. So what Vatrer did was they gave us two 12 volt batteries. So what we did was we put them in a series to give us that 24 volt that we needed. Right. We had to increase the wiring to make sure that it could hold the amperage that we were about to push through it, along with the breaker that's 60 amp. So you'll see in the video, what I will say is that trying to get the video that we needed in the tight area that I was working from was very difficult, but I think I did a good job of capturing most of that.
But we just want to emphasize, thank you Vatrer for reaching out to us and providing us two 12 volt batteries. They are not cheap batteries, so we really appreciate the high quality Vatrer batteries from Vatrer.
All right, so I'm going to take a couple of minutes to show you some of the things that we're going to be installing today. The first one is the trolling motor itself. This is a brand new Minn Kota 24 volt Terrova trolling motor. My prior trolling motor was a twist style. This one is a lot newer, a lot more technology. So the good news is that it's got a remote that you'll be able to use to be able to position it wherever you want. It's got another feature that allows you to do spot lock, which will be able to hit a button and lock the boat in position, which is really, really nice. So with that, we're going to be doing a couple different things. One, we're going to start by installing this new quick release bracket. This is very important if you're a boater and you have a trolling motor and you keep this outside your house or you travel with it. This is a great feature so that you can remove that trolling motor easily to put it in your house, so that in the event that somebody walks by and doesn't walk off with it, this will stop it from doing that. With that, I'm going to be upgrading the charging system. So I found this particular charging system on Amazon. It was a great deal. I think I spent about $150 on that. I'll find the link and we'll put it on the description. What I currently have is a 4-bank charging system. It's a much older charger and it's time for a refresh in that department too. If I'm going to go ahead and spend the money on this nice trolling motor, I want to go ahead and make sure I've got a nice charging system to go along with it as well. So with that, we're just going to do a 3-bank system. The 4 was too much last time. It allowed you to charge 2 house batteries and 2 trolling motor batteries. I really only needed to charge 1 house battery because the other one is being charged by the alternator, so it's not necessary. So with that, what's great about this particular charging system is that it does a myriad of different types of batteries, including lithium. So my thought process is that I have these 2 12-volt lead acid batteries that are currently in the boat now, and I'm thinking it'd be a whole lot better if I upgrade it to lithium. I also have a quick connect here. The old one was in bad shape, so we're going to go ahead and replace that. With the new 24-volt system, the wiring that was in here currently on the boat is not enough to support 24 volts through it. So I went ahead and sourced through Amazon a marine grade 6-gauge wire, which I'll be going into the boat, tearing the old wiring out, putting the new wiring in, making all the connections, and then also adding in a 60 amp breaker. Very important to have that on a system like this for sure with that much voltage. One of the other things that comes with this is that it does have a brain that they add to the box with the particular trolling motor. I'm not sure why they're adding this, considering that this particular model, the brain is now built into the actual trolling motor itself. So if you wanted to add a second layer, I guess you could install this, but I have done my research and I'm told that this can go right in the trash. So that will be the plan. It'll save me some time and energy and less holes in the boat. So from there, the only other thing is to make the decision on whether or not I want to stay with lead acid batteries or go to something much better. But I think that I want to do lithium. So let's go see if Brad's got some lithium batteries at his house that maybe I can borrow. We'll be right back. Dude, I'm working on this project. I bought this trolling motor and I got 2 old batteries that I don't want to use anymore. Do you happen to have any marine grade 12-volt lithium batteries sitting around by chance?
Let's see, I've got some home theater chairs and these lithium batteries.
Dude, I knew you'd have some.
We have these Vatrer Reliable Power Empowering Lives batteries. There's some information here about Vatrer. They sent us these for you, so you're in luck. These are for you. I haven't opened them. I think we should break one open right now while you're here.
I love it.
And take a look at it.
Let's take a look.
They're awesome. All right, let me grab them. Okay, we got these Vatrer batteries from Vatrer, vatcherpower.com if you want to check them out. They asked us if we wanted to team with them to do some stuff with their batteries, and we said of course, and Joe has a perfect project for his trolling motor. So these are going in the trolling motor. What voltage are these?
These are both 12 volt, but we are obviously going to put them in a correct series. That was a trick question for Brad. We want to increase the voltage. So we have 2 12-volt batteries that we're going to go in series for my 24-volt trolling motor.
Look at this, man. This thing
is
sick.
That's nice.
Look at the carrying strap on top. I guess let's get it out of there.
Perfect.
Package. And it's not even heavy. That's what's so cool. You save so much weight on all your vehicles when you go lithium ion, because this battery probably weighs 20 pounds if I had to guess, compared to a regular battery that probably weighs 50. And look on the front here. So it's a 100 amp hour Life PO4 12.8 volt battery. It's used in houses for like solar applications, RVs, and in boats. And there's all the certifications and the warnings on it. It's got low temp cutoff protection, and it's perfect. It even says trolling motor on it.
Love that.
It's perfect for that. So we have 2 of these to wire up in series to make 24 volts. And back of the battery just says, there's a caution, there's a model number here. So if you guys are interested in the same battery, there's the model number, DXD. We'll put this in the link in the description. DXD-C00206X. There's a URL here, and then it tells you again that it's 12V100 TM US, and some warnings here. And so this is going to be cool. We have a new partnership with these guys. So if this works out, we might be able to do another golf cart or something like that with their bigger batteries.
Yeah, because they have a large selection of lithium.
They do. They have 72 volt batteries too, so we could do that.
All right, so the first step that we had to do was to pull new wires. In the prior existing setup, there was, I believe, 8 gauge wires, which isn't ample enough to hold the load that we were going to put on it. So that was quite the process. Something that I thought was going to take hopefully no more than 30 minutes to pull the wires ended up being a 2-hour process. And that really came down to how the boat and all the channeling works to get the wiring through there. It was a one-man project. I didn't have somebody else to kind of help feed them through from the other side, so it took about 2 hours. But very important that we get the correct wiring that we needed to hold this type of load that we're going to put on it. So I was able to get that all put in and installed. And then of course, on top of that, we were going to make new connectors for that. So I got some really good connectors that I was able to source, along with a very good crimper to make sure that those connections were really, really tight. One of the things that you want to be careful of is when you're doing wiring, you want good, solid connections. You don't want to have any frays. You don't want to have any issues where they're not touching completely. So I made sure that I went out and sourced a really good crimper to do this. So that was quite the project. But as you can see in the video, it takes a little bit of time, but well worth it to make sure you got the right stuff when you're using such a large load.
This project, we had a lot of support from Vatrer, but we also had support from local businesses. So tell us about who helped you out locally.
So I was able to reach out to my buddy JB Mitchell that works over at St. Augustine Marine Services. That's a great group of guys over there that do quality work for electronic works on boats. I highly recommend that if you're in the Jacksonville area and you're needing to source a new trolling motor or any electronic needs, reach out to those guys.
Yeah, so if you guys are not in Jacksonville or in driving distance, we have a couple of ways for you guys to support the channel. You can buy it directly through our Amazon affiliate link, or you can use the YouTube affiliate link as well, and that does give us a few dollars here and there to turn the power on at the house, because look at this.
All right, I took a quick break to grab some lunch, got back and started working on running this new 6-gauge wire. Admittedly, this was quite the job. It took me about 2 hours to figure out the best route to get this from the console area down, around, back up in front to where the quick connect's gonna be. Worked through a couple of shirts and a couple of hats already. It's pretty hot out here, but ultimately I saved you guys a bunch of time watching me try to work this wire all the way down, around, and back it up. So I've got plenty of slack on both sides to do what I need to do to start making connections.
You guys just saw Joe in his boat ripping the old wires out. They're not big enough to support the amperage of the new batteries and motor. So he went ahead and ripped those out and he put a brand new 6-gauge wire in.
First thing that I wanted to do was to make myself a little bit of space inside a very tight console. So I needed to first rip out those old lead acid batteries. And I will tell you, when you're watching this, when I was pulling out those batteries in that tight console, it was a chore, to be honest with you. It was gonna be impossible to get 2 sets of hands in there. So me ripping those old batteries was quite the process, to be honest with you. So I needed to clear those out, make room for me to get in there to start working on the next part of it, which would be installing this circuit breaker along with the new charging system.
Okay, cool. So we're going to take a look at that next on the video?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
All right, so here's a little update from inside the console. So one of the things that I was going to attempt to do was to remove this old charger. Unfortunately, I did everything I can to figure out how to get inside there to get what appears to be nuts on a bolt. I spent probably 15 minutes alone trying to figure out what size, what to get in there, and I could not figure it out. I just cut all the lines off of it, or all the leads off of it that go to all the batteries. Then I cut off the power supply that I will be reusing for the new one. I also took out the 2 old batteries in the trays. I'm going to clean those trays out and put those back in and get ready to seat the new batteries in there. I have this 6-gauge wire here. This is going to the trolling motor. This is what's going to feed off of those 2 batteries for 24 volt. As you can see, there's a chase down here that goes through here. That was part of the fun, is getting it through here amongst these other wires. And over the years, you know, between the manufacturer, other people installing stuff, it has just become quite the mess of wires here. So that's going to be one of my projects in the very near future. I'll work on a little bit of it while I'm in here now to get that all organized and put up. So one of the things that happened was, I mentioned this earlier, was that the hole was cut too big, so they had to make a plate so that the actual quick connect could seat to the plate, and then the plate would seat and be screwed down to this part of the hole here. Luckily, I was able to keep some of the old plate. It was starting to fall apart, so I was able to use partial of it to create a template with a new one. I already made a couple of cuts and got it identical. I just need to drill some holes for the new one, so that's what I'm gonna be working on next, and we'll get you set up to watch that.
All right, what you just watched was me installing the new quick connect for the trolling motor itself. So from here, the next steps are going to be installing the new 60 amp breaker. This is very important for anybody that's going to be installing a trolling motor. If you're dealing with large loads of power, you want to make sure you have that protective measure in there. So the old system had two 50 amp breakers because they were running two 12 volt batteries separately. So with this particular setup, we're going to be running, again, two 12 volt batteries, but not separately, in series. So we're going to bump that up to 24 volt. Make sure you install the correct wire and the correct breaker so that you don't have any issues with potential fire hazards or anything of that nature.
Absolutely. So you need the correct size wiring and the correct size quick connect. We'll have a link in the description to that, but if you're in Jacksonville or St. Augustine, support our local businesses. St. Augustine Marine Services helped Joe out in this project. Do us a favor and help them out also. So what's coming up next?
Yeah, so from here, we're going to go ahead and install the new breaker, which is a 60 amp breaker,
right,
along with a new charging system.
Awesome.
Now, what I will say is that Vatrer has a long list of products that they provide, along with battery chargers. I had to go out and find a very unique battery charger that allowed me to not only charge lithium, but to charge original lead acid AGM type batteries itself.
Vatrer does have a large selection of batteries. If you go onto their website, you'll see they have a ton of batteries, a ton of charging equipment, and they're a high quality company, so please support them as well. Now let's take a look at what Joe did next right now.
All right, we're back. This is day 2. Yesterday we made some pretty good headway. I was able to install the 6-gauge wire through the boat. Like I said, that was a real pain trying to get that run through the chase through the boat. That was completed. I also got the quick connect, for the most part, about 90% done. I need to get it screwed in and caulked in, and that'll be completed. For today, what I'm going to try to concentrate on is getting the 60 amp breaker installed along with the new charging system. This charging system, as I mentioned, is going to be able to give us the ability to do normal lead acid batteries plus these 2 new lithium batteries. So pretty excited about that. All right, so just an update here on the inside. It's a little hard to get the camera in here to see what's going on, but I went ahead and installed the 60 amp breaker right here on the side. I've got it somewhat wired up now. I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning up here with the wires. Also went ahead and reutilized this old plug here that's going to allow me to plug it in. I got to obviously get these wires sorted and zip tied up. And then on the other side here is where I put the new charging system on. Went in fairly easy. As you can see, it's all powered up and working, which is good. And then I'm going to start working on now is getting the 3 batteries connected that are going to be on this system and installed now.
All right, what you just watched was me installing both the 60 amp breaker and the new charging system itself. So the next steps are going to be getting the new batteries in and then getting those all connected as well.
All right, awesome. Let's go ahead and take a look at that now. And then we'll have links for everything in the description if you guys want to go ahead and check out what Joe did on his boat.
All right, everyone, today is day 3 of this project. So basically what I'm going to concentrate on today is I'm going to try to finish wiring up the quick connect for the trolling motor. And then lastly, I'm going to install the lithium batteries that were provided by Vatrer. This should be a fairly easy process. I've got a couple of cables that I need to make to get everything connected to make this a series 24 volt system. Shouldn't take too long, but hopefully we'll be able to wrap up this project in the next couple hours. All right, everyone, got the batteries installed. Very easy process from the standpoint that moving these batteries inside of this little tiny entryway to the console was much easier than taking the old batteries out. They were more lightweight, easy to maneuver, and that made it very easy. I got the charger installed. I got the settings set for lithium on the 2 lithium batteries, and then I'm only charging my second house battery, so that setting is set as well. So the install went pretty easy in regards to the batteries, very fast, very smooth. In regards to finishing this up, I'm about 95% done. I've got to put some marine caulk around it to seal it off. I'm waiting for that to come in, but hopefully they'll be here in the next day or two. But in regards to this is pretty much done. Need to do a little bit of wire management, and then also going to put the caps back on the top of these batteries so there's nothing that can get to them to do any sparking in case something comes apart. But for the most part, I gotta tell you, this turned out really well, and I'm going to test the batteries out now with the trolling motor for the first time, and I'm excited to show you that. Hopefully we'll be able to get a little break. It's been pretty nasty over here, but we got some storms coming in, so I'm gonna try to get this up and running real fast, and then I'll show you how it goes. All right, so what you just watched was me putting in those new batteries. I will tell you that there's a lot of benefits to lithium, but the biggest thing is the weight. And just me putting those batteries in was about as easy as it can get. It was just super simple. I was able to put them right in. I had to do a little bit of maneuvering because how tight the space was, but because of the weight, it made it so much easier to get in there and manipulate it. Very happy with that part of this whole process. So once I got those batteries in, made the final connections to get everything complete as a whole, ran a quick test to make sure that I was getting power back to the trolling motor, and everything looked great. So from here, the next step was to get it live. So I'll meet you out on the water.
So the next step is actually getting on the boat?
It is.
All right, let's check it out.
All right, here we are out in the middle of the St. Johns River underneath the Dames Point Bridge. We have it locked in. It is working perfectly. Right now, if you see, it self-adjusts depending on which way the current of the wind is taking it, but it is keeping us perfectly locked in. Plenty of power. We are not going anywhere. Gotta love it, man. Thanks a lot to Vatrer for those awesome batteries, man. They are working perfectly.
All right, you guys just saw this entire project go by. Joe got 2 12-volt batteries from Vatrer, specifically designed for his trolling motors. He installed it directly on his boat and took it right out in the water and tested it out. How was that whole experience?
Man, it was great, to be honest with you. I've always wanted to put this trolling motor on the boat and have this type of technology. Being paired up with great lithium batteries, I couldn't be any happier.
I bet it was an awesome experience. I know it was a lot of work. I had the same experience across the street recently putting in lights over at Rich's house. It was a lot of work, but it was worth it in the end. Now we want to stress to you also that Vatrer has a lot of different types of batteries. They have golf cart batteries as well. Right here is the Club Car 72 volt lithium ion. We'll throw that up on the screen right now for you as well. Make sure if you need any kind of battery, go to Vatrer first and check and see if they have an appropriate application for what you need. And chances are they have it, because they have literally probably 50 different types of batteries on them.
They have a long list of every type of voltage that you need, every application when it comes to batteries. So it looks like they got golf cart batteries, they have marine grade batteries, solar batteries. Yep. They have about everything. Very impressed with their website and the amount of products that they offer.
They do have everything, and we're actually looking forward to working with them on some other projects as well. So hopefully Vatrer wants to work with us again. I'd be excited to work with them and do some more projects with them. I can think of a lot of different cool things we could use their batteries for.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Always click through our affiliate links to buy anything you want from Amazon. You don't have to buy these batteries, but I hope you do. But if you click through that, you can buy anything you want, and it helps out the channel greatly. Thank you for 200,000 subscribers also. And we'll see you guys on the next one. We got to get out of here.
I'm like, where the hell is he going?
I got out of here. All right, that's good.